G'day and welcome everybody to another episode of the This is Raleigh podcast. Craig and Kaz, your hosts here, presented by Influence Media here in the Raleigh Founded Studio, and we're super excited to have possibly one of the most well-known and I'm sure loved women in Raleigh, Maggie Kane from A Place at the Table. Hope we didn't drag you out of bed too early this morning, Maggie.
I just rolled out at 8:30. No, early morning coffee shops open early. So it's so good to be here. Thanks for being here with me, and thanks for inviting me. This is kind of weird being in person doing this. I feel like any sort of interview or speaking thing I've done on Zoom for the past year and a half. Yeah. So it's weird sitting at the table with y'all.
Yeah, I know. It is great. Yeah, because everyone's totally zoomed out. But
I can't stand another Zoom thing.
I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, today is definitely probably a 2 coffee day. It's a bit chilly outside. It's not quite gloves on the hands weather yet, but lows in the 30s and highs in the 40s. I think it's all downhill from here into winter.
I'm already complaining.
But there is a storm brewing because we also woke up this morning. The Hurricanes are 9-0 in the hockey. Are you a hockey fan?
Yes. Oh my gosh, do y'all go to the games?
We've been to 2 games, I think. Oh my God, it's the best.
It's the most fun.
Yeah.
The most fun. Yes.
Yes, we took my sister. She came just before the pandemic. And she didn't know anything about ice hockey. She was visiting, and we took her, and she was like, "This is wild."
Mesmerized, probably just watching the game the whole time. Beer in the hand.
Oh
it's so fun.
So fun. I'm not going to sit down and watch every game on TV. There's like 82 games. But, as of the recording, what is it? November 4th. They're 9-0. So who knows?
Crazy.
When they publish this, they could be 15-0.
Yep,
so
they could.
Go Canes.
Everyone loves a winner.
Well, and I have a lot of friends that have season tickets, and I always ask them, "You go to all the games?" But no, the secret is you buy packages. So you go to you can pick 11 games. You can pick, I think it's 20 games. You can pick the full 44 games.
Oh, wow.
But that's the secret.
Way to do it.
11 games is perfect.
Yeah,
you get to pick which ones you want to go to.
Oh yeah.
So
okay, we might look into that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I
love it. So thanks for joining us. We're excited to learn more about A Place at the Table.
Well, I'm excited to be here with y'all. Y'all are inspirations. I said this when I walked in. I love following you.
Thank you.
I've been reading your blog. I've actually read your blog all the way back from your travels. I can do a deep dive into a blog, and it's just fun to see y'all in person and be with y'all. And
great!
You guys have done some amazing things.
Yeah, well, thank you. That's a lot of years of travel that you've dived back into. So
it's fun. I love it. Y'all have some great stories.
Yeah, we've been around the block, I guess, and done
a couple things.
As we're just chatting off air, we're permanently rooted in Raleigh. And happy to be here. You're stuck with us, and
hey, we are honored to have you.
Thank
why?
you.
You're interviewing me, but I could ask why Raleigh, out of all the cities across the world you've been to.
You can go back and listen to episode 1 and 2 of the
podcast. Exactly.
That question.
Yes.
We do.
A place at the table.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons we love living in Raleigh, because, we went to the Innovate Summit last week, and it's all about how this city is innovating and moving forward and trying to do better and be better. And A Place at the Table really is a symbol of that, and what you have created is really amazing. So I'd love to have you share what it is, because I know so many people in Raleigh know and love you and recommend you all the time, but we do have listeners outside of Raleigh, and they may not have heard of it or not heard of the concept before. So if you could just dive into what it is, how you got started, or your background into that.
Sure, yeah. First off, that Innovate Summit, awesome. Clark is incredible.
He's the best,
I loved your episode with Clark.
But
he's great. He did a great job.
He did.
And that's why I love Raleigh too, the people here and what's happening, what's going on. Place at the table, and thanks for saying that. A lot of people know it, but I find every single day people don't know what a place at the table is.
Yeah.
I speak to groups of 200 or 300, and I every time I make them raise their hand if they have heard and been to a place at the table, and it's like crickets, silence.
Yeah.
So it's funny. We're so lucky. We've gotten so much exposure, and we're on social media, and you would think people would know about us. But so I hope anyone who's listening who has not been, please come see us at 300 West Hargett Street. We are a pay what you can cafe. So what that means is all prices are suggested prices. So when you walk in the door, you see a full menu. It looks and feels like a regular cafe that you would walk in. Again, you see this full menu. You see lots of different options. You smell bacon and you smell cinnamon rolls like the ones I brought you here. We could be eating right now. But you smell cinnamon rolls. You hear good music. You see friendly faces on the wall in photos. And so you don't even know we are a nonprofit restaurant until you get up to the register and you start to see that suggested pricing language. And then the person behind the register says, one of our awesome staff persons says, your suggested price is, do you want to pay that, less, or volunteer for your meal? So that's what suggested pricing is. So if you were to come in and order a cappuccino and an avocado toast, you could choose to pay the price we give you. You can pay more and pay it forward for someone else. You can pay less because we know some weeks are harder than others and all you can afford is just pay $2 or $3. Or you can pay by volunteering with us. So you don't have to pay anything. You can just come in, you can work alongside our staff and our volunteers. We don't ask you volunteer because we think people need to work for their meal. We ask you volunteer because we're a hand up, first hand out, and we want you to be a part of it. We want you to feel a part of the table community, the table family. We've got lots of volunteers, lots of staff, and everyone's doing it together. So again, we want you to volunteer with us. So that's what a place at the table is. Again, we're located 300 West Hargett Street. We're open 8 to 2, Tuesday through Sunday. Really, really awesome food. I don't cook, so I can say that. We have an awesome chef. We have great staff, great baristas who make the pretty latte art in your coffee that I've been doing coffee for 3 years, and I still, to this day, cannot make a heart in your coffee. The hour I do it a day to fill in for breaks, you probably don't want me to make your latte. Wait until after or before. But yeah, so that's who we are. Would love anyone to come see us. And again, all are welcome, truly. We're open to anyone and everyone. It really is Raleigh's community cafe. I'll go back now and tell you how I got started in this. I am a Raleighite. I think that's what they call us.
I think so.
Like
I think that's
Raleigh.
Raleigh.
You guys are getting outnumbered. Like,
okay, thank you. Everyone else says, "Oh wow, you're so like it's so unique." No, I think there's a lot. Yeah, I think there's some. I don't know.
Born and bred?
Born and bred here, yeah. Born
go.
and raised.
Awesome.
My mom still lives here. I have a twin sister and an older brother. They both live in Cary, and I see them all the time. I'm really fortunate to have stayed here. I didn't think I was going to stay here. I actually, similarly to you, well, probably not similarly, but close.
Same but different.
Exactly. I had a travel bug. I studied abroad in high school. Was really, really fortunate to do that, and lived a year in Italy, and it was fantastic. So great. So that led me, just like y'all, led me to think I got to keep traveling. That's what I want to do. Spent some time backpacking. Again, really, really lucky to do that. Was going to go to, at that time, I got back from Italy, applying to college, knew that I wanted to go to college. And again, lucky to do so. Wanted to get out of Raleigh. Thought I needed to.
NC State?
Yes, but not hashing on NC State. I wanted to go to App. I'm a mountain girl. I wanted to go to the mountains.
Look at that.
But I went right before, and it was the couple months before I had gotten into App, and it was -2 degrees and raining. So I said,
I'm outta here.
I cannot. I will not survive.
That's brutal.
Brutal, right? So I, wasn't gonna work for me. So NC State it was, and thank God, because it was the best 4 years. Met some great people, got to be a part of awesome experiences, and I, including volunteering at a day shelter, got to know kind of the scene in Raleigh, wanted to do some volunteer work, found a day shelter, working with folks primarily on the streets. So it was a shelter, not a sleep shelter, but it was a shelter people could come in on a cold day like today, get coffee, and just have a place to be. They could come in, use the bathroom, and again, have a place to be. And we saw about 100 people a day. Wow. So I got to know many of these incredible humans walking through the door. Graduated college still thinking I am going to move abroad. I didn't know what I was going to do. Maybe go work for an embassy. I was in political science and international relations, or maybe I was going to go teach English somewhere. College graduation day comes up. About 10 folks from the street, 10 folks who sleep outside at night came to my college graduation.
Oh,
and
that's
it was
amazing.
in that moment where I said, this is the work I want to be doing right now. This is, I need to stay. I need to be here for my own job. Worked at this day shelter for a couple years, ran the day shelter, and got to know these humans even more because I got to spend 10 hours a day with them. So I would, for me, getting to know people is through food and through coffee or through beers. That's our tool to meeting people, developing relationships. And so it's such a big part of my life. And so I would go and eat with folks on the street, and eating with folks experiencing homelessness or living in this extreme poverty means you end up at the soup kitchen a lot. So we'd end up at the soup kitchen. We would, again, on a cold day, we'd hike down there. We have an awesome soup kitchen in downtown Raleigh. It feeds 300 people in an hour. But we'd hike down there. We'd stand in line. We'd get inside. We didn't get to choose what we wanted because they are just making food for 300 people, whatever they have that day. And then we'd have to eat quickly so someone else could come in and eat. And again, don't hear me say there's anything wrong with that. It's incredible. They are really fighting hunger. But what I found was it was different than my life experience, where I can go eat wherever I want, spend hours with someone, getting to know them, and have that choice in what we're eating. Sure. So I started taking folks out for meals, folks on the street out for meals, and they wanted to go to places like Golden Corral. And so I always back then I ate off the chocolate fountain and I loved it. And so I would always say, like, is this why you guys want to come here? And realistically, I always thought they wanted to go there because you could get a mass amounts of food and eat and just fill your bellies and be good for the next day. And so I asked several different folks that I took, and they all had the same answer. I said, so do we come to Golden Corral? I mean, this is like the 10th time I've gone to Golden Corral at this point. Are we coming here because you're hungry, right? I do see you're eating a little bit, but they all said the same thing. They said, no, we come because first we feel seen and valued here. Someone greets us at the door. Someone comes around and sees how we're doing. Someone asks if we need a refill. Someone says bye as we're leaving. Living in poverty, people treat us as invisible. Yeah. Here, someone sees us, that we're valued. We have dignity. And then the second thing was, they said, Maggie, we have choice. Living in poverty, people make every choice for you, from what you eat to where you sleep. Yeah, right. Here, we get to choose. I can choose if I want a steak today. I can choose if I want a waffle today. And I get to make that choice. Yeah. And so for me, that was that moment where I said, we got to do something about this. We've got to create a place where everyone feels valued and seen, and everyone has that choice. So I started researching. I found the pay what you can system. And I'm researching. I'm Googling everything. I actually even checked out some library books, but very outdated. Very outdated. This was back in 2014. But Google was my best friend at the time, and found I'm Googling social enterprises, nonprofits, churches, anything that could create space like this. Found the pay what you can system, found that there were over 15 pay what you can cafes across the country. Yeah. The closest one, ironically, being in Boone, North Carolina, right across from Appalachian. My life probably would have looked a little different. I don't know, but
we're heading there soon.
Oh, you'll have to go check it out. Yes. It's Farm Cafe. They're amazing. Perfect. They are only open Monday through Thursday. So you might. Okay, good. Go see them. Yeah. One of my best friends now. She's amazing. We talk every week. And so I went up and visited, and I said, what do you do? I asked 1,000 questions, and she listened and she answered. And I went back up the next week, brought someone different. I went back up the next week, brought someone different. I think I was looking for someone to say, Maggie, no, let's not do this.
Don't do it, yeah.
But everyone said, this is a great idea. Do it. I don't think they thought I would actually do it, and I'd pull them in to help me do it. Yeah. But launched it 2014. Was said, okay, we can do this. There are other really great places doing this. Raleigh can have one too. Yeah. 2014, we were into 2014. We were founded as a business, and then applied for nonprofit status, and the rest is history. 4 years later, not just the rest is history. 4 years later, we opened January 8th of 2018.
Oh, so it was 4 years in planning it out.
Yes.
Wow, that's some solid planning.
It was a lot of hustling, a lot of different things, and people always say, did it take you 4 years to fundraise, 4 years to get off the ground? And I say, no, it took us 4 years to friend raise. So just meeting friends that now make it happen. Restaurants, I think the stat, don't quote me, but I think the stat is 75% of restaurants fail in the first year. Right?
It's pretty heavy.
It's pretty heavy.
It's a tough industry.
It's a tough industry, and you add it
in good times.
In good times,
the stuff that's been going on.
Right, and then you add a like nonprofit restaurant to it, like
Yeah.
you're doomed to fail, right?
Yeah.
And there's only 15 of these across the country, and they're all very different. And so 4 years of just telling the story, getting people excited, telling people what we were doing, not really asking for anything. I mean, by 2017, when we finally found a space in August, we probably had $30,000 in the bank, which all restaurant owners out there know you cannot open a restaurant with $30,000. But we called on all those folks that we had met over the years and said, hey, we're ready to do this. And we raised the money pretty much overnight because of this awesome community.
Yeah.
But really just that 3.5 years of building what made the cafe end up happening. The people that showed up day one, the people that volunteered day one, the people that gave money day one, the folks in need who showed up to eat with us too. I mean, we needed 4 years to be open today still.
Sure.
Yeah, right. And what do you think? I know you mentioned a lot of the people was, instrumental in you
Yes.
getting it up and running it. Is that still the case in keeping it going for so long now? And is there anything else that really helped its success?
Absolutely. Yeah. Great question. Yes, people are the answer. This cafe, I said earlier, is Raleigh's community cafe and could not work without everyone taking part in it. Whether you dine there, donate, volunteer, you're a part of making it happen, and we need you. And so getting off the ground, it's so interesting that, people always say, yeah, Maggie did this. No, I did not do this. This community did this. From folks who were restaurant owners to accountants to lawyers, people stepped in with their skills, with their expertise, and provided input, sat on the board, came to events, helped run the event. People stepped up and became a part of it. I trust me, I did not go to school for accounting. I did not go to school. I worked in restaurants my whole life just to, pay my way through college, but and in high school too, but I didn't know how to open one.
Yeah.
So amazing humans came together to build this, and they still do. So now we have an awesome team of people that are accountants, lawyers, restaurant owners, again, who are adding input into what we do every single day. When we first opened, we had a staff of 6 and maybe 40 volunteers. I don't know how we did it. We somehow managed. I mean, I was chopping pineapple at 4 a.m., right?
Oh my
and
gosh.
no one wants to eat chopping pineapple.
No.
I still
No.
I'm still not a good pineapple chopper. But we now have a staff of 20. And we have 130 people that have a weekly volunteer shift with us. And then we have lots of folks who just sign up online to volunteer with us too. And then we have folks who volunteer for their meal. So we now have this amazing cafe with all these humans making it happen. And so the evolution of how many people over the years have gotten involved has just grown.
Yeah. And so how many would you have volunteering of a day? I know whenever we go in, it's hustling and bustling. There's people everywhere. There's always someone greeting you at the door and
Priority, yes.
such friendly, helpful service. How many volunteers are there? Do you have more than you need? And
Thank you. Yeah. So if you are a total introvert and you don't want to ever talk to a single human, don't come to a place at the table because you are probably going to get greeted.
Yeah.
Because that's priority for me. Because I know, and for all of us, truly, our mission is community and good food for all, regardless of means. And so the first is community. And if you walk in and do not feel welcome and you don't have a full understanding of what this place is, but you've heard you could get a free meal, or you heard you could just pay a couple dollars, or your whole family could eat and have a great dignified meal, but yet you don't know how it works and no one greets you and explains it, you're gonna walk out because you feel uncomfortable. You don't feel welcome.
safe, yeah.
So for me, it's and for all of us, we have to have someone greeting at the door. And then we need volunteers to help do dishes, to run food, to roll silverware, to make everything that is not product related, so food and coffee. Volunteers help us do it. So we need and rely on a lot of volunteers. We also did just add a food prep shift. So if anyone is looking to chop pineapple,
there you
call
go.
me.
Not at 4 a.m.
It won't be me. Not at 4 a.m.
Pineapple fishes on the menu.
Exactly. No, pineapple's been cut. I don't like pineapple.
Your volunteers, they are awesome. And your staff.
Thank you for
we
saying
were
that.
there a week ago.
Yeah.
Thank you.
From the greeting you get to walking up
Thank
to
you.
the registrar, sitting down, you do feel very welcome.
Yeah.
It's such a
Part of
great,
a family.
warm, fuzzy feeling when you walk in there.
you.
It is
I hope so.
totally a community gathering space, as you
Yep.
said. Like it's just a nice vibes, happy vibe, and the food's great, and the
Yeah.
coffee's great.
Yeah,
because that's
they're-
like black and white.
We use black and
coffee
white.
roasters.
We love
Awesome.
black and
Oh,
white.
yeah, they're
Also-
great.
They- yes.
Who are also nearby here in
Right
the
near,
warehouse
yeah,
district.
yeah,
So-
2 minutes away from us, and that's where I have all my coffee meetings when it's not at a place at the table. But
Yeah.
their coffee's awesome, and
Yeah.
we've just been lucky to have them.
Yeah, consistently good coffee.
Yeah, and we have great baristas that again can foam your milk well, and
Totally.
It's-
so it's a good latte.
really important.
It's important. I know y'all post a picture of that latte. I need it to be on point.
There's an art and science to making
Instagram
coffee, and
world.
Don't get me to make it, but yeah, like,
there is
I'm
a-
totally
yep.
grateful for good coffee, good consistent coffee too. Like,
Thank you.
all
That is again everything we do. It is our team. We are from our chef to our baristas to everyone on staff. We're really fortunate. We've been lucky to during the whole pandemic keep our staff.
yeah.
And I think it's because they believe in what we're doing too, and
Yeah.
they believe in the mission. And so we have an awesome team.
No, it shines through. So just on the volunteering stuff, like how does that work exactly? Like you have to walk in, or you can sign up online.
Yeah.
And to volunteer for your meal, like
Yep.
what's the commitment, and
Cool.
what
Yeah.
other options are there for volunteering?
Yeah, anyone can volunteer. We are always doing a little plug. My volunteer manager will be so excited. We're always looking for weekly volunteers. So anyone who wants to commit weekly, Tuesday through Sunday, it's a 3-hour shift. It's really fun.
Twice a week. So
Once a week.
Once a week.
Yeah, once a week, 1 3-hour shift, or bi-weekly or monthly. We've got about 130 people, as I said earlier, that have a weekly shift, and it's fun. They they feel like they're really in the family. They know all their other folks on the shift. They start to know the diners. They start to know people volunteering for their meal, and everyone's doing the same thing. There's no division. It's everyone's rolling silverware together. Everyone's doing dishes together. And so we've got weekly volunteer shifts or bi-weekly volunteer shifts. We also have a sign up online, so people can go to our website and sign up for a 3-hour shift as well. And it's really fun because it's a volunteer shift where, like I said, you're going to be talking to people. You're going to be meeting people. We are fortunate in that you get to see what the mission's actually doing. You get to see what your volunteer work is doing and really feel engaged. And then people volunteering for their meal. Before the pandemic, we had about 80 people a day volunteering for their meal. Think about that.
Wow.
Just walking in randomly, volunteering anywhere from 15 minutes
Wow.
to some people want to stay all day.
Yeah.
Because they love it. And so now pandemic has changed things a little bit, but we see anywhere from 20 to 30 people a day volunteering for their meal as we've slowly started to add volunteers back. And they can come in and they can volunteer anytime in the day. They can eat first, they cannot eat first, and they'll help us do, again, run food, anything that they choose to do. They'll help greet at the door.
So if they don't have zero skills whatsoever, you guys,
Zero skills.
you can
You're
help-
there.
You
Yep.
can, you help them out with
Yep,
that.
and I may help you. I may have you like bagging chips. I may have you in the dish room. I may have you, whatever you want to do.
Smile and
love
meet
it.
and
Smile
greet.
and meet and greet, or
Yeah.
sit and have coffee
Yeah.
and with
Yeah,
someone at
totally.
the community table.
Yeah.
So volunteering is pretty fun.
And you were speaking about how it's hand up, not hand out. And so from this, have you do you have any examples, or have you noticed how this has helped empower people or change their lives in any way?
1,000%, and I would say amongst all folks, all people. I'd say, I've got thousands of stories, so how long do you have? But
You should start a podcast.
What?
You should start a podcast.
Exactly. I'm telling you, what is it like your place at the table or something? There's probably a gimmicky more name. Those creatives can help us figure that out.
No, it's good branding. Like branding's key, and it
Yeah.
hits it like right there.
Yeah,
Place at the table.
yeah, place at the table. We all have a
everybody
place at the
has
table.
Totally.
But no, we do. We have really awesome people that are involved. We've got a guy, and I use him because he loves me telling his story. His name is Dino, and many people know him. He has been volunteering since the beginning, since 2018. Walked in the
Wow.
door, somehow found out about us. I think there's a misconception that everyone that volunteers for their meal or pays less and the folks that we serve are on the street or just experiencing homelessness. That is not true. He happens to be on the streets because we have people volunteer for their meal in their suits during their lunch break.
Yeah.
So it meets all different humans. But Dino is on the streets. I think he's been on the street probably for 10 years. So he shows up. he becomes a part of the community, doesn't say much at all. Little by little, he starts opening up. He starts chatting with us. And then about a year later, he starts doing interviews for us. Like, he's like the camera, Spectrum News is here. He's the one doing interviews, okay?
Love it.
Pandemic hits. And we don't see him at all because during the pandemic, we went all curbside for a year. Yeah. And we did curbside meals. We fed a lot of people. My team was awesome in that. But we don't see him at all. So fast forward, we reopen. I don't even know, maybe like 4 months ago for seating whenever we all could open again, whenever that was. And he shows up day 2 of we are reopened inside and starts volunteering and eating again. And now he's there 8 hours a day, every day. So that shows me that he was not just there for the meal, right? He was there because he's a part of our family, right? And so yesterday morning he came in and our chef said, "Hey, Dino, why do you have a big bruise on your eye? What happened?" And he was bleeding. And so Andrew was like, "Well, let me get you situated with care. Let me try to get you a bandage. And then do you want to go see a doctor?" And Dino said yes. And it evolved. We called Alliance Medical, and they were willing to help Dino out. And so he feels safe with us. We're his family. He comes to us when he needs something. He comes to us when he just wants to talk and say hi. So I use his story just because that's what we do. He feels a part of it. He wants to be there. He's in our family. He's basically staff, let's be honest. But he doesn't have an ID and doesn't have any of that stuff, so we can't actually hire him. Maybe under the table. Should we delete that part? And I'd say another, the opposite end, we've got millionaires who are volunteering with us who have never met a poor person in their life. Yeah. And now are friends with so many folks experiencing different situations, food insecurity, housing insecurity. And so I think folks who may have means, their eyes have been open too, to see that these are normal, incredible humans. And there's no other place or time that I've been able to sit across the table, or there's been no place that has really broken down those walls and barriers to allow us to get to know each other and realize that we're all in this fight together and we're all human, and we all, many of us grew up in Raleigh. Many of us are, we're from New York or whatever, and you start to realize we have more in common than we think.
I love that. I got goosebumps. It's kind of like it is a place at the table where there's no labels. That's just kind of come who you are, and it's accepted and welcomed and loved.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
Fascinating.
Very important.
Yeah, like I said, we are all humans, and anyone can fall on tough times
all of us,
for whatever reason. And it's so great that you're meeting that needs.
We're all a step away from homelessness, poverty. A lot of us just have. When I first got into this work, a mentor of mine said, a lot of us just have positive relationships in our life that will pull us out of that. So if I was to lose my job right now, and I would have 100 people I could call to go sleep on their couch, or to get me a side gig job to help me out with whatever I need to help pay a bill. A lot of folks may not have those relationships for various reasons, but we all are a step away from poverty. And what I have learned in this is once you've hit that bottom, you're in the cycle, and it's expensive to be poor, and you cannot get out.
So the pay it forward concept, the token, like it's a $10 token, correct?
Yep.
So you can purchase one of those and hand it out. We can hand it out ourselves in the community.
Absolutely.
Or you can donate it back to you guys and you pass it on.
We pass it on, exactly. We it's been really fun over the years. It's not what I expected to see how many people want to pay it forward and want to carry tokens on them. So a token, it's $10. It gets anyone a free meal. And so when people come in every day and buy tokens, and they keep it in their wallet and they hand it out, or in their car, hand it out to someone who may need a meal, whether it's a friend, whether it's someone you see who may be panhandling or asking for money. And I'm telling you, most folks, especially primarily folks on the street, they know a place at table, and they will love seeing that token. It is a hot commodity. So if you keep a token,
it is a token that you, it's the value is for food and a meal. And can't be used for something that's not really going to help them in life or whatever. But as far as the suggested pricing, any crazy, super generous, over the top suggested prices that people have paid?
All the time, yes, all the time. We're very Raleigh has been amazing. And we're on Yelp. We've been fortunate to be on Yelp and have pretty high ratings and reviews about the food. And so we see people coming in every day who are not, they have no idea what we are. They just saw on Yelp we have 4.5 stars, and they're like, oh, breakfast.
Coffee shop.
Yeah, breakfast. And so they'll come and they'll learn what we're doing, and they'll be just blown away. And we're also fortunate that if you're just sitting there having a meal, you can see the model working. You can see people who may look like they're eating for free, or you're volunteering, or you and they may be, they may not be, but you can just see the model working. And so people will donate $100 here. Buy 10 meals for people. We've had people donate $1,000 at the register. And so and I'll also add, we are a nonprofit, so we fundraise on top of the cafe. So our annual budget, 60% comes from generated cafe revenue, and 40% of it's fundraised. So it really shows you that Raleigh supports this cafe from individual donors who give monthly to us, from corporate sponsors like Blue Cross Blue Shield and Bank of America, and other really generous people. People get involved the way they can, but we could not survive without, to your point, generous people who buy people's meals or pay it forward.
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine an operation like this costs a lot of money to fund and run. So I can imagine, does that create a lot of pressure and stress for you? Is that like the dark cloud hanging over your head all the time? Like, oh my gosh,
always.
How am I going to get money? So I know people can come in and volunteer, but you mentioned fundraising. I believe you just recently had a big fundraiser, and
we did. We're going to get y'all there next year.
Yeah,
yes, tell
we'd
us
love
about
to.
That and how anyone can get involved.
Yes.
And where was that at? And
Yeah. So of our 40% fundraising budget, we about 20% of that is individuals. So again, like I said, people who give monthly, people who just gave at the register, and about 10% of that budget is an annual event called our Set the Table campaign. And so we are actually going to do it twice next year. And so we just invite folks out to come and do a big event, get together. We know people love to get together, and celebrate what we're doing and raise money. So we did it at the Dillon on the roof maybe about a month ago, and it was awesome. We had 300 people and just supportive people and a mix of people. Had really good food. My good friends own Rocky Top Catering, and they did the whole event, and it was perfect. And if you ever need catering, it's a plug for them.
There you go.
You should interview them, actually.
Tennessee folks? Oh.
No, I don't even know. I should know that, right? I don't know. No.
Isn't that Rocky Top, the Tennessee Volunteers?
I guess so.
True? I think.
I guess.
Anyway, I don't know that connection.
I don't know.
What am I missing? I guess I'm not under a rock.
He's a sportsman.
University of Tennessee, I'm sure. The football, when they win, they sing some Rocky Top song.
There you go.
I could be
You're
wrong.
right. No, you're right. I'm now picturing the song in my head.
Yeah.
Anyway,
great catering. Rocky Top.
Great catering. Use them for your next wedding.
So. Fundraiser, party, whatever.
That's right.
We want to have we recently got our green card last year. We want to have a green card party.
Yes,
so we're trying to figure that out
because
obviously we all know what happened last year. So it was
Congrats.
It was we had to take a rain check on that. But
Heck yeah, let's party.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Where are you gonna do it?
We don't know.
We have to find a venue somewhere, and I don't know. We have to sort of sit down and start planning now that life might be coming back. So
plus we want to start having meetups with our community as well, like once a month and stuff like that. Yeah, so we get some plans to.
That is awesome.
Get people together.
We got to do a meetup at a place at the table.
A beverage, adult beverage, whatever.
Okay, well, if you have a morning one, let's do it at a place at the table.
Right.
Saturday morning.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Not too early.
We don't have alcohol, but
that's all right. In the morning, we'll go with coffee in the morning.
Yeah, and I'll come to the meetup at night with the beer.
With the alcohol,
yeah.
Awesome. This is all amazing. Well, one question we're going to ask you, like, how did your upbringing in Raleigh and your early days shape you and create the person you are to do this concept and stuff? But I think you nailed that question with that awesome answer.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what I say at this point. I was talking to Jason earlier that I am no public speaker. I just get up here because he was talking about my TED Talk, and I literally practice that thing 150 times.
I can
Maybe
imagine.
like 550 times. And I have a lot of good friends like Jess Ekstrom and other people who are in the public speaking space. I'm like, I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how you nail those answers. So I don't know what I said to say all that.
Caroline loves the public speaking. She's good
Yeah,
at
yeah.
it.
You guys are both great
I'm
at
like
it.
one of those people like would run the other way.
Me
Like,
too.
like-
Me too. That's why I actually like being in person with you. It feels like
Yes.
we're having a conversation
Yeah.
versus being on Zoom.
Yeah, it's
and
very awkward on Zoom.
It's very
It doesn't
awkward.
really
No,
work.
yeah.
You got gaps and spaces and lags.
That's
You
right.
pop up everywhere. Like
That's right.
you did your
Oh,
TEDx talk. You're at the
no.
Downtown Raleigh Alliance on the panel there. You're on probably a lot of podcasts, I
Oh,
imagine.
well,
Every
well,
magazine
no,
in
I
Raleigh,
mean-
without a doubt. Like, you
Oh God,
you're everywhere.
I have had such great support in this community, and
Yeah.
I can't imagine. It's wild. One of the big rumors in Raleigh, and actually my friend sent this to me the other day, that if you Google Maggie Kane,
Yeah.
one of the top questions, like you see Google,
Yeah,
it says
yeah.
the top questions is John Kane Maggie Kane's father?
Really?
The top question. That's
One of
so
like
funny.
the 5 that you see on the like scroll down.
Yeah.
And no, John Kane's not my father. They've been super supportive of a place at the table. But
You could have run with that.
well,
We
I
won't
tried.
say.
I tried back in the day. I always say it would have been a lot easier, probably. We
Yeah.
probably would have gotten a space
Yeah.
earlier, but we would not be open still because of that 4 years of
Yes.
building what we have and
Yeah.
creating the community we did. So that was not my upbringing. Really, they're really fantastic people, though. But back to your question, I know I talked already about, where I grew up, what I did, but I truly believe I'm on this earth to love people. People are my passion, 100%. People. I actually just did a DISC assessment, and if you don't know what that is, we hired a consultant to come in and do a leadership retreat with our team, and so we all got this DISC assessment. It's really interesting, like one of those personality traits where you see your top skills and all that. And I am like a 99% out of 100 people person, and like 0. I was like 1% procedures and process and all that.
Sounds like me.
Yeah,
1%
exactly.
there.
I was literally 1%. The line, it was a graph. It was like really, really tiny, and then the people was huge. But I just believe I'm on this earth to love people. So whatever I do moving forward, I never. We were talking about entrepreneurship earlier. I never envisioned being an entrepreneur or being called an entrepreneur or starting something, but I just believe so strongly in bringing people together, in building relationships, in truly loving the unloved and making them feel a part of our community, that this is what needed to happen. And so that, I grew up with an amazing mother, and a twin sister and older brother who we were just taught to love people no matter what.
I love that.
Brilliant.
And listening to you, like you doing what you believe to be, like a people lover. And I'm curious, and I'm sure we're going through such a stage of change for so many people where they're questioning things like, what have I been doing with all my life? And they want to return to or discover what that belief is about themselves, what they believe they were put onto this earth to do. So how have you been able to do that in your own life? Because so many people are blocked and confused by it.
Yeah, absolutely. Therapy.
Yeah, there you
Everyone
go.
go to therapy. Everyone go to therapy. There's nothing wrong with therapy. It's an hour for you to talk about yourself and to figure that out and to have someone help process with you. Also, I have an incredible leadership coach. She's really helped shape some of these ideas and thoughts I have. Really good support system. Really good but really good people, and being okay with leaning on people and being able to ask for help is huge.
It is.
I think a lot of people feel they have to do it on their own, and they don't. There are people that want to help you. You just have to ask. And so I just think really having a great support system, that no matter what, I can be who I am, and I can come to them with anything, and they're still going to be there. So I think that's kind of what's helped shape me and gotten me where I am. And then just knowing my why. Right, basically, like why do I love this? Why do I love people? And getting that inspiration from what I'm seeing in this community, the needs. But so I think just that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I love it. That's really great advice. I know you're just hearing it spoken about so much at the moment, so I know super helpful. I think especially the support system, which is essentially what you've ended up creating at a place at the table as well.
Well, there are resources out there. My good friend Annie runs NAMI, the National Alliance for Mental Illness, and I know right now, like if anyone needed a Pay What You Can cafe in a community, it's now. I think this pandemic has taught us that yes, there's food insecurity, but there's community insecurity. There's loneliness more than ever.
Yeah,
and that's real. And so there are really good support groups, support systems out there, ways for you can seek help. You can find ways to move forward, purpose, things like that. But I know that there are a lot of people struggling, and I've been there, and I know. But I think this pandemic has really showed us that we need each other, that we need community, we need to surround each other with supportive people in our lives, because that's what life's about.
Yeah, it is. It's about people. And the conversation that's brought up most of the time when we speak to people in this community and entrepreneurs, and they talk about the power of collaboration, and that Raleigh is so great at that. For a lot of people, especially if they're going into business, they possibly have a very big fear of loss. And I know some things that were said to us when we started blogging. It was like, well, don't share what you know, because someone may steal that information and do better than you. So if someone is looking to, pursue their passion, start a business, whatever, how do they move from that kind of mentality of thinking we need to be competitive and be better than everyone else, to this powerful way of operating through collaboration?
Yeah. Great question. Oh my gosh. Well, I believe no idea is a new idea. We've been, how long have we been living on this earth?
Yes.
No idea is a new idea. I mean, there are very few ideas that are new ideas. And so I think we need each other, and we need to listen to each other's ideas. We need to support each other. What I have learned so much in the nonprofit and restaurant industry, that we are not competing. I have a group of I'm a part of a group of about 150 organizations in the Triangle that want to support each other. We meet once a month on Zoom now. Before it was in person, and now the list has grown so big, so we meet on Zoom and probably will forever. But we support each other. What's working, what's not working, how can we help? Who can come to my event and represent and post on social media? Who has someone who knows a job opening, because I'm looking for a new job. So the nonprofit world here in the Triangle really want to collaborate and support each other, because we realize when we do that we are better together, that we can get more done, that there's enough money to go around. There's enough volunteers to go around. And so we need to help each other. We can only be better when we do that. We'll only thrive when we do that.
What's that saying? The rising tide lifts all boats.
Yes.
That's the thing. Like, that's totally
it's true.
A great example.
There's
an
African proverb that is, and you probably have heard this too, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And the same is for the restaurant industry. We have felt no pushback from any restaurateurs. Restaurateurs have only offered to help. Hey, can we host an event for you? Hey, can we do a donation night? Hey, can we come and bring our chefs and volunteer? Vivace at North Hills, I love this story. They had right when we opened, we had Soka and Buku at the time. They were here. They helped us open for the first 2 months. Then they needed to get back to business. Okay, their staff needed to go and actually work in their restaurant. So Vivace called us, and it worked out just like that. They said, "Hey, we have a plumbing leak. We're going to be out for about a month, but we still have a full staff. Can we come help y'all?" So they came in for a full month, paid their staff to work with us.
That's amazing.
Okay, so because I had no idea what I was doing.
Love it.
Yeah, I love that.
But that's what the Triangle is. And so I think if people had if people just knew that, look, people want to help you. You just have to ask, and you just have to tell them what you're looking to do, or what energizes you, what excites you. I believe people get excited about that.
They do. It's the energy that people latch onto.
Yes.
And so if you bring that with a greater purpose and a mission, it's like people are like, well, I want some of that. And they just kind of dive in.
Yeah, and you can try to do it alone. Go for it. It's going to be pretty damn lonely.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the reasons, like, people ask us why Raleigh. That's one of the 75 reasons we love living here, I think. And because we did a 1-year RV road trip before we finally put down roots in Raleigh.
Oh, I read about it.
Whilst it was great and stuff, like it was just us and the kids the whole time. And one thing we were really looking forward to is coming back and getting into the community, you know, getting a part of the energy, meeting the people and the support. And, you know, it's been really helpful in doing what we do. Obviously, our business is mostly online through our blog and social media and stuff like that. So, but the collaboration and the energy and the support of the people and like people always ask us, like, can we start a blog, or is it too late? Is it too crowded or whatever? But no, like there's always there's always room on the internet for other people, like, and everyone has a unique story or an angle or whatever, like just to be yourself and what you can offer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So. Now, I don't believe like you should reinvent the wheel, because that's just not, you're not going to, unfortunately, you're not going to go very far if you're reinventing the wheel. But
have some market research and know that there's a demand for
that's
a product or a service or whatever, and just find out a way to meet that.
Right. And I mean, because if you have this idea and someone else is already doing it, just go be a part with them. It's even better that way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
that's a good point.
I just think like you don't need to reinvent. You don't need to though, because it's better when someone else is already doing it and you can just tag on with them.
Yeah, yeah.
And you do it together.
Yeah, that's true. So much power in that.
Yeah. I don't know. A good example is Band Together. Did y'all go to Band Together?
No.
Do you know Band Together?
No.
Amazing organization in the Triangle. They raise, it was founded from my friend Danny Rosen. He, 20 years ago now, he wanted to bring people together around live music and build community and raise money for organizations. And so,
I love music.
Yeah, how did y'all not know about this?
I can't believe
never have
it.
enough
Living
live music.
under a rock.
Just
Well, we need to get him on this podcast.
Yeah.
But he had this idea and brought the community together, and for the past 19 years, they've been raising money for a nonprofit every year. So they had gotten to the point of raising money for about $1 million for a nonprofit. $1 million.
That's
for an
crazy.
organization in the Triangle. Okay,
That's
so
crazy.
pandemic hits, they raise money, thankfully for them, because they need it too. And then this past year was 2 weeks ago. Now, mostly volunteer run. They have a badass staff, Thorne and Hannah, who make it run. I don't know how they do it, just the two of them, but tons of volunteers. And so what they decided to do this year is they raised. We ended up raising $1.1 million. For 99 nonprofits. So we decided that, hey, let's be better. Let's collaborate together and not just do one. Let's give money to everyone.
I love that.
So 99 profits in the Triangle received funding, whatever 1.1 divided by 99 is. Received,
do that math right now.
I know, me neither. I told you I was not an accounting person. Received funding. And we all came together at this event. We celebrated, we shared, we came together. So that is what the Triangle is.
Yeah. Did they do a virtual concert through the pandemic?
They did. Yes.
I've heard of it.
Yes.
Bad. We haven't heard of that now. Like,
Well, it's
tell them to
fine.
get on
Now you
board.
know.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
That's
Thanks
the
for
thing.
sharing that.
Now you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Blame it on the
Don't get
pandemic.
too involved. They're gonna have you like running the silent auction or So be wary of that. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So just a quick other few questions about place at the table, then we'll get on to some Raleigh general fun questions. But so on the menu, like if we're going in there, what's on the menu? Do you have a favorite current
Oh my gosh,
item
I
on the
have
menu?
so many favorites.
Like,
Every day, I'm really lucky because I
does
don't
the
cook,
menu
and so
change often,
it
seasonally?
changes seasonally.
Yeah.
But we always have our staples. Like, because if we got rid of the black bean melt or the turkey bacon avocado club or the
I had
huevos
that the other day.
rancheros,
I love the turkey club.
I know everyone does.
Yeah,
It's been
yeah,
there for
yeah.
we've sold like 25,000 of them over the
Oh,
years.
wow.
Yes.
There you go.
Because what I don't know if y'all realize this, but during the pandemic we also expanded.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
took over the space next door.
I did notice that.
And so before we had just a prep kitchen. We didn't have a full kitchen. So we could only make clubs because we could slice turkey. We could not make huevos rancheros with homemade tortillas and eggs and things like that. So we didn't have eggs on the menu. And so my favorite thing, I mean, every day I'm like, what? This is the biggest problem. What am I going to order? Because I want this. But I love the huevos rancheros. We've got great salads and seasonal salads just made from local produce, Raleigh City Farm, and other various places. I love also our chicken bacon ranch is great. So we make our own bread, we make our own chicken, we do it all the sauces, ranches. So it's this massive sandwich. So it probably becomes like 3 meals. But we just they do awesome.
And
Love it.
like good selection of vegetarian and
vegan.
options.
Yep. Lots of options. Gluten-free bread.
There you go.
We've got lots of pastries too. So
Yeah, I had the banana bread the other week.
Oh,
my
you did?
gosh,
Okay.
that was so good.
It's
With the
awesome.
pumpkin spice latte.
Oh,
That was a
I know.
moment.
PSL. I know.
Good.
So good.
Gotta get the pumpkin thing going. Like,
Yeah.
Tis the season.
'Tis the season.
Any plans to take a place at the table, like outside of the Triangle or
So,
somewhere else in North
yeah.
Carolina or even outside the state?
We get asked this every day, probably,
Yeah.
and I'm probably on a call a week with someone who.
Sorry for asking that
No, this
question.
is
Just
good.
sick
No,
of
this is
answering
good.
it.
This is good because even yesterday I'm sitting down with someone and later, like last night at like 8 p.m., he texts me and he's like, okay, so how much money would it take for you to come and open this in Durham?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh gosh. But we do.
You're
We're
not
on.
our accountant, remember?
I'm like, I know
there.
exactly. Well, I'm like, yeah. Well, I said I need a good chef, manager, accountant, lawyer,
Yeah.
restaurant.
Yeah.
I'm trying to listing it all.
that
But so no, in all seriousness, we've thought about this over the years, and we, the thing is it took us 4 years to go back to this fundraising, building relationships, building everything that makes it happen today. So we believe that we're probably not the people that are going to go open it in Durham or go open it in. I got a call from New York City someone in New York City saying we have the funding, come open it. So, but we believe that we can work with you if you name that person that knows the players, whether it's the nonprofit folks, whether it's the mayor, whether it's the people that work at Bank of America. Name those people and let's make it happen. Let's find the team of people that are going to make it happen in that town. So I'm on a call a week with someone opening a cafe. This week was someone in Georgia who's opening one, and I know they will. But we got all the tools. We did it. We'll pass it to you. We'll have
you got the
Zooms
playbook.
with you. We got the playbook.
Yeah.
But it's probably you guys doing it because you know
They know
your
the community,
and what the community actually needs.
Yeah.
And so I'd love to open more of these, but again, I just think it comes out of the community, and the 15 pay what you can cafes across the country are all different. So the one in Boone they're open 3 hours a day and they're buffet style, and it works perfectly for Boone. And then we are open 8 hours a day and we're full menu, and it's what works for Raleigh.
Unique to particular cities
That's right.
and stuff like that.
That's
I
right.
was thinking back like many years ago, early 2000s maybe, we went to a place in San Francisco, had a similar concept.
Really?
I can't remember the name of it or if it even was San Francisco because
can't
we've done a
remember.
lot and everything's a bit of a blur.
I was going to
But
say, you've been to a lot of
That's
restaurants.
my only
Yeah.
memory of a similar type of concept. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's
How
pretty
do I'm just curious for our own travels and people who are listening
Yes.
outside of Raleigh, how would you find a place at the table, like an example of a place at the table wherever
Absolutely.
you're traveling? Or
Yeah, so you
living?
go to the One World Everybody Eats Foundation. So we're all part of this greater foundation. We're friends. We message back and forth. We have Zoom calls, and we just support each other with what's working, what's not working, and it lists off the 15 cafes.
Awesome.
Like there's one in Denver. There's one in Fort Worth, Texas. So you can go and see that and see if there's one in a town you're traveling to.
That's great. Thanks for that, for all the
Yeah.
travelers.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know
so
where to
we
find
have
it.
we do a Q&A interview on our blog, which you have participated in. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
And we'll leave all this in the show
Yeah.
notes too. Carry
And
on.
one of those questions are, what local entrepreneur inspires you to do better? And
I wonder who I said back then.
most of the time, a lot of the time, they mention Maggie Kane.
Oh, gosh,
and I know
no.
you've mentioned quite a few
God.
local people now that inspired you.
so
But
many.
is there one another person you want to give a shout out to? Who
Can I give 10 shout outs?
Yeah.
Oh my
Go for
gosh.
it.
Yes. We also source coffee from Black and White, as I said, but from Lori Jones. She owns Blackology Coffee. She's awesome. Just freaking the best. She's so cool. We source her cold brew. So she started her own coffee company. Really, really great entrepreneur. Reggie Winston, I love him. He comes and eats with us once a week. He owns a barbershop downtown, does incredible work in this community. Terrence Ruth is my main man. I love Terrence and Kira. So they're just true entrepreneurs and go-getters. And the list goes on. I mean, I mentioned Jess earlier, Jess Ekstrom, great friend of mine. And yeah, I could keep going if you want me to.
Yeah, there's so many
that's
great
great.
There's
ones.
so many.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, we are
no
really
shortage
lucky.
of inspiring local entrepreneurs or even for people
And if
from
you
out
have,
of state.
and let me just add Johnny Hackett. If you haven't talked to Johnny,
Oh, we did. We met him at
Okay.
Innovate.
Okay, great.
Summit.
Yes, Keenan was awesome.
He's
Yeah.
going to come on
great.
the podcast.
Yeah, Johnny Hackett's doing awesome work.
Yeah, we had a few
from Black
cheeky
Friday
drinks
Market.
with him him at the Merchant after the
Oh,
the
fun.
summit, which
Oh,
was
yeah.
good too. Yeah, no, great guy.
Yeah.
Love his story, enthusiasm, and community spirit as well.
Gosh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We're lucky.
Yeah,
So-
very.
Yeah.
Lots of. I could keep going, but I won't.
Yeah.
If you want to hear more, please contact me.
Yeah, there you go. And we'll have all of this in the show notes on the blog. So we've got loads of links and resources that you
awesome.
shared. So we'll
Totally.
put all of that in, then people can go direct to thisisraleigh.com, find all of that
And
there,
see
and
what
click
they're-
around.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, another question we ask every guest and on the blog as well is, besides going to a place at the table, you got one of your friends visiting from out of town.
Okay.
Where are you taking them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner in Raleigh?
Love it. Okay. I'm a foodie, so I let's say breakfast, so not a place at the table. I'm just kidding. No.
Maybe you could have the
yes.
coffee at a place at the table.
Yeah, stop for a coffee at a place at the table, then go have breakfast.
Yeah.
So,
Or the other way around. Either
Yeah,
or.
or the other way around.
Yeah.
So I have to say Centro because I miss the Centro brunch. That's where I took all my people. So Angela hasn't been doing brunch during the pandemic. So this is come on, Angela, let's get
Okay,
back to brunch.
okay.
But Centro's great.
I didn't know they did brunch.
They did
I've been
brunch.
to their mess.
We'll have to put it on the list because we're working our way through.
Oh,
brunch.
there! I love that. Yeah. Well, they
Working-
don't have it right now, so I'm
Okay.
just
Gotta
giving it.
wait.
They're gonna reopen it. So I'm saying this to speak it into the universe.
Yes.
Let's get brunch back.
Let's get brunch back.
Yep. So lunch. Gosh, there's so many great places. I probably have to give a shout out to my friends at Y Hill.
We love
Sarah
Y
and
Hill.
Chris.
Oh,
I
yeah.
go like once a week.
Yeah. Another great brunch spot, lunch spot.
Yes.
Afternoon
Anytime. Yeah.
Drink spot.
Yep.
dinner spot.
Amazing view. I mean, I think everyone knows that, but
Yeah.
just really good people that own it.
Yeah.
And I just believe in what they're doing. Garland for dinner for sure. Garland Chidi is someone you should bring on this podcast too. Chidi is doing really just an incredible job here, and she's a good human, good
Yeah.
soul.
We're going
Food
there
is
for dinner
phenomenal.
on November 10th.
Have you ever been?
No.
No, first time.
Terrence-
And we're actually
Sadly,
going with Terrence and Kiara.
shamefully,
Oh my
our
gosh,
first time, but it's been on our list forever. And,
You're gonna love it.
like, we're working out, like, we've eaten at a lot of places, but we still haven't scratched the surface because
There's
there's
so
so many
many.
great
You
places
cannot.
and
I
new
know.
places opening up.
New places all the
yeah,
time.
really, really looking forward to
Yep.
checking out the
Roasted
Garland.
or no, I don't. I think it's fried cauliflower. Get the cauliflower. Good drinks. Good. I mean, everything. You cannot go
vibes.
wrong.
Yeah.
Good vibes. Sit
Yeah, yeah.
outside.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
yeah.
it might be cold, but
Yeah.
it feels like you're sitting in a little.
Yeah, it
the
does
little
feel like
trees.
Asia.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like they've done,
I love
they've
it.
done it well. As
They've
far as
done it well.
The sidewalk dining.
Yeah,
scene. But
and yeah. So that those would be my meals, but I gotta keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My girl Kim at Bittersweet. Love
Oh,
Bittersweet.
yeah. We were there the other day.
Yeah, I love
Irish
Bittersweet.
coffee.
You gotta get
Irish
some desserts
brulee.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
Great
love
Irish
pumpkin
coffee.
brulee.
Oh, you need to have that. That's
Yeah.
good.
Oh my gosh, that sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Well, you know, she also has Johnson Street Yacht Club.
Oh, yes. The
Yes.
bartender
slide
was
bar.
telling us
Haven't
about it.
been,
We've
but
never
yeah,
heard
yeah.
Go
of it.
get a beer and slide down the slide.
There's a slide bar?
There's a slide. She has a slide.
Being the
Oh,
yachty that I am.
man.
Yeah, the
No,
yachty.
I'm not a yachty at
Don't
all.
worry, you don't have to be
Everyone-
there. It's a
everyone-
dive bar.
Everyone has a yacht club. It's
Yeah.
like, is it actually, are they sailors or what? What's the story? Like,
No.
God.
It is.
God.
I think.
Yacht club.
Yeah. Well, it's a dive bar, and
There you
it's
go.
the best
I love a good dive bar.
possible.
Is it too
Love a
early to
dive
go there after this podcast?
They probably are open actually.
All right, we're shutting up shop. That's it, we're done. It's
Time
like
to take the slide on.
10:30 in the morning. but let's do
I'm
it.
ready. Let's go. But no, yeah, you got Johnson Street Yacht Club. You're already there. So
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, if we're going out for a drink after
Yeah.
this, like, where are we going and what are you ordering?
cool. Yeah. So Johnson Street Yacht Club.
Yeah.
What I'm ordering there is some sort of local IPA, whatever they got, or bourbon neat. So whatever bourbon they've got. Bourbon neat. Or I am a big red wine fan, so I go to Vita Vitae.
Great
Fave
spot.
spot.
Cool
Good.
wine bar.
Love
Yeah,
Lindsay too.
Easy stumble across the road from you
Easy
too.
stumble. You know, it's very unfortunate because before the pandemic, they opened at 2.
Oh.
And so we closed
You
at 2.
close at
so
2.
it was very convenient. Now they open till 4.
Yeah.
And so by like 3,
much
we're
space.
wrapping up. We're
Yeah.
good. And so Lindsay did offer to like slip me a key so I could just go help myself.
And you said no?
Yeah, you know. I couldn't tell if she was kidding or not. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I love Vita Vitae, a good red wine. But I'm really into bourbon, any type of bourbon, and do that neat. I'm not a cocktail person. I wish I was because we have great bars with great cocktails.
Yeah, we
Totally.
do.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
not a cocktail person.
Yeah.
So
What about your college hangs back in the day? At
College
State and
hangs?
stuff like that.
Yeah,
where you
so
used to
going
go,
to NC State.
or even now, like if someone's
Yeah.
listening to this, moving
Yep.
to Raleigh to go to State in the future,
Yep.
like where do you
go?
suggest? Like,
Well, I worked throughout college at East Village, which
Oh.
R.I.P. East Village.
we used to go there.
Love that
Car
place.
ran into it, and it was gone forever.
I know.
Do you
Is that
remember?
why?
Oh, was that the story?
Because the car ran into it.
Yeah.
I thought they just.
Well, I think
Developed
they may
it.
have, but like the
Yeah,
car ran
what's
into
the-
it. Do you
what's
remember
the-
that
just-
when a car went into
know.
the side of it?
No.
Yeah, I think it was
Because we're
someone.
kind of in and out here between Australia
Yeah.
and back here and forth.
And
so.
this was a while ago.
yeah.
But yeah, the car, and I don't know if that's why they actually closed, but it was around like kind of similar time. And
Yeah.
the car went right up in there.
Oh my gosh.
I loved East Village though.
That was a fun
and it was fun to
place.
work there, fun to
Yeah.
drink there, Halloween nights there.
When did you work there?
I
What
worked
years?
there, so I was in.
And no one's doing the math here on your age and when you went to college, but yeah.
Okay, well, I graduated in 2013 because I can't think back that far. So it was like 2011 to 2013 was when I worked
We
there.
weren't here then.
We
I was
weren't
gonna
here
say,
then.
maybe we
You weren't
bumped into
saving
you,
us.
but
Yeah, well, it was such a blast.